Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're here with another episode of 1899, episode 4. Now, I apologize in advance. It's been a minute between this and the last video because I've been a bit under the weather. So hopefully that means I have not forgotten everyone's name since the last reaction. Now, last time on 1899, mutiny has now occurred. Captain Ike, I think his name is. Now has a mutiny on his hand. Of course, he went aboard the ship, recovered this child, and the crew, or some of the crew, it's not everyone, but specifically, it was surprising. His second mate wasn't a part of the mutiny, but he definitely knows a lot about the ship and some of what's been happening because he's been getting instructions from the company. So we don't quite know what his place in this is just yet, but other members of the crew and as well as the passengers in the lower decks have all come together and said, okay, screw this ship is cursed, we don't want any part of it, we just want to get to our destination, we're going to have a mutiny. So yeah, they've now taken over control of the ship, but the last episode was very much a Ling Yi episode. I noticed each episode has been specific to each to certain characters, and we open the episode with those characters, and we got some information on Ling Yi and where she's from, how she came to be in the position that she is, and of course we now know that she has killed someone. That's 2 murderers on the ship. While not intentional, I'm not sure if that's the case in Angel's situation, but she wanted a better life for herself, tried to put her friend to sleep so she could go on a trip in her stead, and accidentally overdosed her and killed her, and so she's now here. An interesting relationship forming between her and Lucien. Assuming that he lives, he seems to have gone into a shock of some sort while performing for her. But the thing about him is that I expected him to want to want sexual favor in exchange for what he paid for, but he apparently didn't. He just needed someone to talk to. But going through the editing, I noticed a few interesting things. The first thing Lucien says to Ling Yi when he meets her is that spooky, isn't it? And referring to the Prometheus. And when Jerome approached, I'm blanking on her name, Lucien's wife. When he approached her, he says the same thing. He says, "Spooky, isn't it?" Referring to the ship again, and it was the exact same opening conversation that they had. And I'm curious to know how exactly these characters are connected. As I mentioned before, I did surmise that okay, there's going to be a relationship between Jerome and Lucien's wife. Wasn't clear on how exactly would happen, but she did ask him, have we met before? And so it introduced a whole other layer to these characters. Of course, this could in fact just be because it's a part of Mara's mind. If in fact that theory is true, and we are exploring the confines of her mind and what she experienced on the ship, she could just be revisiting these things, or as she imagined they would happen. So we're not quite clear what is real and what isn't just yet. But that scene I do believe is very, very important. And hopefully as we get more information on that, I'll be able to kind of determine some new theories from that. Of course, at the very end of the episode, the ship vanished after Daniel, or stranger in this series, seems to be manipulating that contraption that is below the ship, that according to Captain Ike appears to be on every ship that the company has made, but it never works, at least the way that they were told it would work. It doesn't do what they were told it would do, but it certainly does something else. And Daniel appears to know what exactly that thing is, and the ship has now vanished, leaving the Prometheus behind. As I said before, I don't want to jump to the time travel conclusion, only because I don't think the writers would want to be that repetitive. But we'll see. I'll have some more speculation. I have a theory, but I'll revisit that once we get to the end of this episode. So let's check it out. Okay, where the hell are we?
Depuis 2 jours, je pense qu'ils s'en foutent. Ils nous trouvent. Qu'est-ce qu'ils font, ce soldat qui déserte la Légion? Ça fait des semaines, pas de nouvelles. Jérôme, ça va marcher, je te jure. Le prochain poste est à 7 jours de marche. Je suis un lieutenant blessé au combat. Et toi, le héros qui l'a sauvé. Voilà. Arrête. Wow. Wow. L'arrêté, moi sera là d'un jour à l'autre. Ne peux pas faire ça.
Leave it, he's gonna abandon him and leave him here?
Qu'est-ce qui m'a pris, mon nez?
Yeah, he's lying.
Qu'est-ce qui m'a pris?
Knock him out, leave him. Yep, I figured. Alright, so it's Jerome's episode. Oh. I mean, the ship obviously isn't where they last left it, so they aren't going anywhere. Oh, okay. Oh, they don't want to touch them. You don't want to touch them. Like, you know, you guys are disposable. Throw them overboard. Cowards. Yeah. Ships, Prometheus isn't the ship that moved. You did.
Hvorfor dør folk her? Fortell oss nå. Dere brydde dere ikke om livene våre før, og vi bryr oss ikke om deres nå.
Yeah, it's only people in the lower decks that are dying, right? I don't think you've seen anyone, you know, any of the elites dying. So this might give the impression that, you know, they're being targeted. Oh man, I was wondering why they were telling him this. This is not good. They're gonna think this is some heresy and the boy needs to die. Boy is suspicious, don't get me wrong. I do not trust the kid. But yeah. Yeah, she's not up for killing a child. Damn, just like that. That doesn't seem to be completely on board. If his scene from war was in fact true, then, you know, he's seen bodies before, so this isn't entirely frightening to him. And I knew earlier on when I saw him fight just how, you know, capable he is. Oh, you can tell what he's thinking just from a glance. Just do what they tell you to do. He and Lucien haven't crossed paths on the ship just yet. So maybe she did meet him through Lucien somehow? So why did you get married?
Pourquoi tu m'as rien dit?
Parce que franchement, t'en as rien à foutre que je sois mort ou vivant.
Why would you get married if you only have weeks to live? You know, enjoy the moment, I suppose. Oh, now she knows. Oh, okay. Whoa.
stopp, wartet, wartet. Ich bin auf eurer Seite. Wir sind alle auf
This
derselben
is why I
Seite.
don't just give everyone guns. It could be his fault. She doesn't like her very much. Which? How does he know to look for that compartment? Oh, okay, it's not him. Thought it was looking under the bed.
Moi?
Yeah, she helped your daughter before. Like, yeah, mom is crazy. And I mean, clearly the kid has brought something here, but it seems she's willing to just shoot anyone. Oh, it's one of those doors that you need the key to open inside and out, I guess. Okay. Oh, he stayed. Because you have seen him move from one cabin to another, right? Didn't know that was there. I've forgotten the crew have no idea what's happening upstairs. What's that on his neck? Garlic. I don't blame you, mate. Vampires? Oh, okay. You go on.
It's vampires that don't like garlic.
Why? Werewolves don't like it either. They seem
I love these two.
Vampires can fly. Pretty sure werewolves can't fly.
How do you know that? You never seen one.
And they're just called Worker 1 and Worker 2. I need to know their names. Try to take them. Where are you going, though? Oh, he's trying to... What's the plan here? Yeah, you eventually see you. Oh, I keep moving. Oh. Okay. She seemed intrigued by him.
Je vais libérer le capitaine.
Je vais t'aider.
Okay, she's determined to prove that, you know, I am more than I appear to be.
Shooting guys!
I mean, it's one stowaway. It's interesting. You know, the shifting of power, where we started this series with, you know, the... Ah, good to see you again.
¡Deja eso! ¡No! Crester, dile que dejes ahora mismo.
Can I did not work?
I just met him when I went to get help from my sister. So mom knows. Yeah, I think she knows.
Julia's gonna tell her I did.
Damn. Damn, mom. So she knows he's gay, but clearly doesn't approve. I mean, I suspect he knows a bit of what he's going through, but still doesn't make him a great guy. Don't make me feel sympathy for Angle. Ugh. He's creepy, man. Keeps trying to give her the pyramid. Maybe it's time you give it a good look. Or his bug friend. Ah. Seems to be good at opening doors. Okay. Why is he so concerned about two people? It's not as though the captain can take control of the ship just by his lonesome or with his priest friend. Alright, don't make too much noise. Oh. Neither of them speaks French. Ah, okay. And then what? Where are you going to go? She's gone. Yes, Clements. I need to remember her name. Brought a pistol with him. With one shot. Oh. This is where he was taking them.
What's going on here? What do you do?
Yeah, you have some explanation to do. Why was your name on the logs for the Prometheus? Ask questions afterwards. Now is not really the time. Although I'm not sure where exactly they plan on going. Ah, damn. Can the boy even be killed? Oh, don't do anything stupid, Jerome. Ah. Why? Oh, the guys, they're right there with guns, Jerome. Not a smart move. Oh, God. Seriously? Why did he lock him up?
Je peux pas faire ça. Tu être quelqu'un d'autre encore. Revenir en France, rien de nouveau.
That's horrible.
Prends-le, je te dis. Tu pourrais l'échanger en prison.
I mean, if he wanted to stick to his plan, fine. He didn't need to do all of that to his friend. Your apology means nothing. Not dead. What saved him? Okay, just grazed him. I don't even think this kid can be killed.
Hvad laver du?
Kræfter!
Du er også blevet skør. Du kan ikke mene, du tror på hendes historie.
I'd say yes. What did happen to her, and what happened to you?
Flere folk, det dør. Det eneste, du tænker på, det er din egen elendighed.
Du må ikke gøre det her. Du må ikke tage det.
Leaves Tove is one of the sane ones left. Yeah. You're all about to incur the wrath of Jerome.
Je savais pas tout ce que j'ai
I was so right about these two.
J'ai pas l'intention de mourir ici.
You have no weapons. And all these fancy elites are a bunch of pansies, to be honest.
Kommer i mange forklædninger.
I don't see them willing to fight.
Han stjæler fra. Og det vil knuse os.
You are insane, lady.
Smid drengen over bord.
Okay. I hope this wasn't their plan.
He's not the reason people are dying. We won't have to stop us.
This was a horrible plan. Your plan was to just go out there and tell them, please. Someone's gonna get hurt. I'm not even sure the kid is worth it because I don't think he would just die. Oh, no hesitation at all. It's too late. He'll just be back on the ship. I don't think he can be separated from the ship at this point. Whatever he is.
Laura! You have to get out of here. Let's go!
You can stop fighting now. The kid is gone. Oh.
Let's go! Come on, listen. Come on, wait. Let's go!
And Lucien now knows you're here. Didn't shoot him though. I mean, he could have, especially given the situation. I don't think anyone would have questioned it.
I need to talk to you. Now. I found the logbook. This was in it.
Why was your name on it?
It's the passenger list of the Prometheus. Here. That's your name.
Maybe someone else named Maura Franklin. Could be.
Who are you, Ray?
Unless these are the passengers of the Prometheus. But he didn't recognize any other name there, although the list is pretty torn up. But this is definitely these are definitely the passengers of the Prometheus. And there's the boy again, manifesting himself. Yeah, didn't think so. Is he her child? Even though she said she couldn't have children, in episode 1 when she was having one of those flashes, it does appear as though she was pregnant, or there was a pregnant woman in her vision. Right, episode 4 of 1899. Things are continuing to ramp up. The boy, the immortal boy, I'm not sure what he is. Still very muddy on that front. I'm beginning to wonder whether he's her child now, especially with the glance exchange between both her and Daniel at the end there. I don't think it's time travel. I just think it's more a case of her recollection. I do recall as a flash, in the flash of a second, when she was having those visions in episode 1, that there was a pregnant woman in her vision. And later when she says to, I forget the Ada, the little girls, when she asked if she has children, she says, I can't have children. That was the moment in which she immediately started having the flashes again, and she saw the beetle. So I do think at this point, I think perhaps he's in fact her child, who she just doesn't recognize. But clearly some experimentation was happening while she was in that mental facility, assuming that she's not still in the mental facility. But I'm not quite clear how or why exactly she wouldn't remember Daniel, or how exactly that ties into the object that he has. But yeah, I'm still holding on to the idea that they are still within the mental facility. We did get some more information on Jerome and his past with Lucien. Initially, I thought I was, some hallucination of some sort at the beginning as well, but no, this was a memory. And both he and Lucien knew each other in some war or another. Lucien betrayed him to, get himself a higher ranking after leaving the war, and the thing is, I don't think he needed to do any of that. I guess to make the lie work, it's best if you have no witnesses, and Jerome clearly was not on board with it. So does that mean Lucien is not who he claims to be? I got the impression he was, taking on someone else's identity. So Lucien may not even be his name. As Jerome says, bad things happen and people who don't have power just, take it through, well, he didn't say that, but through deception or forcefully. So I don't think Lucien is actually his name. And I guess fate has caught up to him. He is now dying, apparently, which he apparently didn't believe was important to tell his wife. And interestingly, she has warmed up to Jerome quite a bit. I mean, clearly, immediately you can see a stark difference between him and her husband in the way they act. Her husband is not a good person. And so as to not judge him too harshly, because we did see in his interactions with Ling Yi that he's not a terrible person, but he's clearly, what he did in the past is clearly weighing on him, and it's making him into a far worse individual than he was initially, I think. Because he and Jerome must have been friends for a reason, yeah? There's good and bad in everyone, or the potential for good and bad in everyone. And I think he's just gotten to that point where the consequences of his decisions are catching up to him and he's reacting to it. But he did have, as I mentioned, he did have the opportunity to shoot Jerome, and he didn't, especially with the fighting and everything that's going on. People have guns and so on. I don't think anyone would have questioned it if he shot him right then and there, but he didn't shoot him, which gives me the impression that he does feel guilt for what he did, and I think that has been wearing on him for quite some time. I don't think Jerome is there to kill him. You'd want to think that immediately, right? He held on to that medal that he gave him. He didn't trade it in prison, clearly. But he must have gone through some horrible things to get back here, get to this point. But I don't think his intention is to kill him, more just to remind him of who he really is. So it's going to be interesting when they eventually have that conversation. And I'm curious to see how Clemence plays a part in all this. She's an interesting character for sure, because from their initial conversation, she spoke about make up your mind about someone before you've gotten to know them, and there's a point to her argument, but there is some validity to being observant. If someone shows you who they are, you should take them, take that at face value. And you can tell a lot about a person, which is something that is sown, throughout this entire series so far. People picking up, learning and picking up signals just from body language, without having to verbally communicate, because a lot of the crew and passengers don't speak the same language. So there's both good and bad to doing that. But she's adamant that she's not just what you see on the surface, and she's been trying to prove that. And maybe she just admires that courage that he displays. It probably became immediately clear to her, which again, she's doing the same thing. It probably became immediately clear to her that he did not belong among the passengers that were there. So she too was sort of judging him as well. So yeah, there are certain degrees to it, where you can and you shouldn't, take it too far. But so far, she's definitely been doing her best to try to ensure that she proves him wrong. But yeah, the mutiny, I think, is over at this point. The boy is supposedly dead. I'm not sure why. It's gonna be tough to explain. It's gonna be tough to explain, because I think with everything that's been happening on the ship, they didn't seem to be discussing amongst themselves the fact that the Prometheus disappeared. Our crew wanted to get on a lifeboat and get to Prometheus and try to get help, but Prometheus is no longer there. So I don't think they've even shared that much information. Wherever they are, wherever they're sailing to, I don't think they're even moving from the position that they were at initially. And that's all thanks to Daniel. We're not quite clear yet what any of. There's no reason to speculate at this point until we get a bit more information, because we haven't learned a whole lot about Daniel. So it's purely conjecture from my part at the moment. She's still in a mental institution. She was experimented on. Not quite clear yet how everything ties together, but I'm holding fast to that theory until we learn otherwise. We didn't get a whole lot of Ling Yi this episode, or Miss Wilson, I think her name was. So we were solely focused more on Jerome. This was specifically a Jerome episode this time around. I'm curious to see who we get to next, or whether I imagine the people who we're opening the episodes with are the core characters that we'll be focusing on. And I'm hoping that there's one for Miss Wilson, because, as I've said since even before this series started, that she is going to be a very interesting character, and I really want to know more about her. Crester and his family are the other group that I would like to know a bit more about. So outside of Miss Wilson, Crester's family, preferably Tove. I think she's the key to that whole whatever it is mystery that's happening within that family. Her and the child that she now carries, it seems to have an impact as far as what her family thinks. They believe it to be some child of God, and some resentment that Crester appears to have towards her, especially with his mother not being too accepting of him. So those are the two things that I do want to learn a bit more about going forward: Crester and his family, Tove, and Mrs. Wilson. Alright guys, that is it for episode 4 of 1899. Be sure to post down below in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you for the next one.